And the reason that I figured I would make this a training call was because Melissa had, or Michelle had reached out to me earlier, and it was so funny, Michelle, we were just talking about you at Fit Camp this morning, and your personal volume, and that, you know, you guys had only posted, hi Steph, you had only posted, what, 1,000 something personally purchased volume, and then your group volume or your team volume, non-supervisor volume was the rest. And so people are like, how do they do that? And I'm like, that is wholesale. And I was so glad that Dave did that training, because they have never done that specific training at an STS before. So you guys are the first people they really isolated to show where is that personal volume coming from? How are people doing these high numbers? Now, I've always taught wholesale. Rachel did a really good job last night training on the marketing plan. And I teach wholesale because it's the one thing that you can put in a distributor's hands as they're in control. Mm-hmm. They're in 100% control of their own personal volume, their retail, and their wholesale. Beyond that, they need supervisors duplicating. So how do you get supervisors duplicating? Well, you have to focus on that retail wholesale and make yourself $2,000 or $3,000 a month doing that. And then that duplicates into your supervisors. So with this, you know, what was going on was I'm watching all these people do these body competition things, and it's great. And I think they're doing awesome, shredding their bodies and showing what's possible. The problem that I'm having with it myself is that they're showing all this meal prep, and everybody's getting carried away with showing food. And, you know, we have all these different food things, and we're Herbalife distributors. And we make our money through personal volume and retailing products. And so what I decided to do was demonstrate that we could do this, like get yourself reshaped and use the products as the primary focus. And yes, you got to eat because you need the calories and you need to be able to hit certain numbers when your macronutrients, which I'll go over in a second. But I wanted to do it primarily with product. And, you know, you hear so many stories when these personal trainers pick up a canister of Formula One and they're like, oh, there's too much sugar in there. And they want to strip it down. Now, we had a training out here with Tim Files. And Tim Files came out and he shared with us that he had a personal trainer that was going to help him get into this bodybuilding contest. And he wanted to win it, but he wanted to win it with Herbalife products. So the bodybuilder guy's telling him to not use the products. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I'm going to use the products and win this competition. And he did. And the only time he gave up the products was the last 2 or 3 days where you really have to dehydrate your body and shred it down and eat all that asparagus and stuff. But for the most part, he got himself completely to goal with the products. So that's always stuck in my head. And I get with all the meal planning and all that, the prepping, and you need food, and you know, you want to appeal to people who want to eat real food and all of that. The real thing is that people really want those results. I'm seeing that because the messages are coming out of the woodwork. Like this call originated from Michelle texting me this morning at 7:30, maybe about 7:15. And now there's how many people on the call within that time frame. And I went to the gym after Fit Camp and took a shower. So I've done nothing to promote this. And this is what is on the call already. So that speaks to me. So what I'm thinking is that with all of us, we can create something on social media very intentionally. Because what we're going to do is we're going to voice our frustration with not being able to understand how to make our meal plan work for us. And that's really what everybody's argument is in the first place. Is I'm 52 years old. I've been on these products for 16 years. I have always weighed the same, and I've always been lean and fit and never really worried about my meal plan. And as of late, it's been a real struggle. And I'm like, I refuse to believe that it's that I'm 52 and it's hormones and I'm going to have this weight struggle with thick waist and fat where I can't control it. So what I was doing was I was cutting back, and I took my shakes and I cut all the calories, and I kept the protein in, but took the calories out, and I was, cutting out certain foods and really just kind of driving myself crazy with the scale and with the food choices. So I'm like, this isn't working for me. So then Mike gets this guy in his BNI who was a former bodybuilder. He owns a auto body shop. Some of you guys might know him from our wellness coaching calls, is Al Lewis. And I'm promoting it big time because he got incredible product results he was just trying the products to be nice to Mike for the BNI thing, and then got amazing results and fell in love with the 24 line. And because he's a personal trainer in his heart and soul, his passion, he wants to do the business. Now, he can't just give up his auto body shop and do Herbalife. So we're doing fit camps and trying to help build his business. So what I decided to do was take on his philosophy on how he got himself. He's down 48 pounds. He looks amazing. He's still working a full-time job. He coaches his kids' sports teams. He's, a family man. He's burning the candle at both ends right now, killing himself. So I'm promoting him, right? Trying to help him build his client base and his business and all that. But everybody in the world is reaching out to him. So obviously he can't do these meal plans for everybody because it's too much work and he doesn't have the time to be able to do that. So what I thought we'd do is we'd create a swell of demand and help all of you do what we're doing with Al with your own. Find a personal trainer that does these things, right? Now, that's the best way to make this thing happen and get some real social proof that Herbalife is the way, and that we can get some validation with personal trainers that are converted, because they're the hardest people in the world to convert. And we probably all know that, right? They all have their opinions about everything. But when you can get one on the product and get them a result, their opinion changes. And so Mike has this swell of that happening right now. And even his client base that were just kind of on and off, because I've gotten these results and they're in our fit camp, are all on board. I want the meal plan. We're following it. They're ordering tons of stuff. He's got all these senior consultants now, qualified producer. Al just made supervisor. His sister's in Maine. She just became a senior consultant. He signed up her first member now because of a skeptical person of her husband's now is getting product results. So it's causing a real buzz. But the thing you have to think about is, how do you start one of these? You have to hook in and lock in on your own product result to prove it works, right? You've got to create attraction. And so that's what I've been trying to do. And I really debated last night about posting that picture, but I'm glad I did now that this happened. So what is the biggest struggle for all of you? Can anybody just unmute and say, Michelle, you called me first. So what's been your struggle?
Well, I do 2 shakes a day and I eat a healthy meal, and, I'm slowly continuing to lose inches, but not much. I've been on the product for 1.5 years and I've only lost 9 pounds, but I've lost about 45 inches throughout all my measurements. But I am nowhere near where I need to be. And I know that I can. And reading your post this morning, it was like I was reading my own words, because I'm 45 years old and I still have a stomach, and there's got to be a way. And so, that's why I reached out to you. I was like, okay, what exactly did you do? What was your routine every day? What did you eat in addition to your shakes? Maybe tablets I'm not taking. I take 18 of them, but I want to know exactly what you did. And that's because I know I'm not done. I have that same exact mentality that you typed in that message today.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Lori, this is Stacy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So for me, you know, like Michelle, 45, and initially lost 84 pounds on the products, 39 inches, totally happy with that. And then this year I was in not one, but 2 accidents and was doing the same thing you were doing, like really cut back on my food. Most days I don't hit my like all things I know better than to do. And, you know, I see all these guys doing this meal prep and I have zero interest in that. I mean, I really have zero interest in cooking and spending all day Sunday. And I mean, like to a crazy amount. So for me, like what I said to Lori was like, is there a book I can read? Is there a website I can go to? And she said, you know, just get on this call. So it's helpful for me to have like real people that I know doing the deal. So thank you.
Okay, great. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of logging people's complaints because I want to use this as what we're going to create for social movement. Anybody else?
Lori,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and talk. So, when I first started the program, lost 27 pounds, over 40 body inches, size 13 to a size 2, felt great. Put on a little bit of the weight back, but they said your body was leveling out. Great. Took some time off, always stayed on the products, 1 to 2 shakes, had kids, moving forward. Had a little bit of a setback with an accident, got working out again, not really worked out ever before since I was in college, but got involved in a group and started working out, felt really awesome, loved it, but not moving. Like the scale would, it went through the body evolver. Scale would go up, scale would go down. 1 week, scale would drop 5 pounds, and then all of a sudden it was like climbing again. I can see my body, the important thing was I can see it change, but it's still not toning. And most of the time, I'm not hungry. I mean, I can have a shake in the morning, honestly, 24 grams, 200 calories, and I might think about, oh shoot, it's 3:30. Oh, I didn't have my other, so trying to be on track with that. So I too, and I love to cook, but I have no desire to, set up 7 days of doing this. I do try to change my eating habits. I'm trying to we do more chicken, try to stay away from the pasta, but I love pizza and we do pizza every Friday night. And it's not, it's not like I eat the whole pizza, and I eat salads and I love vegetables, but trying to understand that variety that's out there of what should we be doing? Yes, I know there's printed papers and all of that, but to understand, like, okay, so like, I love asparagus. I'm one of them that do like asparagus. Can I have that 7 days a week? Because I would be like, that's cool. I can just eat that. Trying to understand that and then make myself keep accountable for what I'm supposed to have. I rarely hit probably my my numbers. And then it gets frustrating. And you work out and like I said, I don't see or feel the results. I am late 40s. I will only share that because I like to hang out with that younger group. You're so good. You're like a 52. I'm proud of it. I'll get there too. But I've never had a stomach. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and it's not bad, but it's like, okay, that's not happening. So it's not. And so when I felt like this other lady, I'm reading this, I just happened to hit on it. Don't ask me why. I said it was going to be a great day and this is it. And I thought, holy Toledo, oh my gosh, she's saying what we're saying. Really, Lori's having these struggles. So I thought the 4 week is coming up. Let's get on track and figure out what it is and see if we can make a change.
Yeah, I figured we could incorporate this into our Fat Torch Challenge too, which is, another way to get people interested in doing it over the holidays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else want to say anything? Share frustration points, what's working, what's not?
Well, Lori, I want to just tag on to what you were saying earlier. One of my frustrations with the whole meal prep thing is, yeah, we're making an MLM marketing company rich, but it happens to be Tupperware because that's all I see is Tupperware containers holding real food. To me, it's time for meal prep in a blender, and let's focus on our own business. It's easier that way anyway, and what better food could we have than Herbalife?
Right. Yeah, and I really wanted to speak to that too, Dave, is that why not, and we need to add this into our social media proof, is why not have an endorsement of a product and eat the food that the company's paying you to eat? Because again, Whole Foods and Stop and Shop is not paying me to eat their food. but Herbalife is.
Yep.
And I'm getting these results, and it's easier, and it's cheaper. So we need to kind of sprinkle that all in so that people are learning that, and if there's enough of us doing it with that kind of same conversation, everybody's got that conversation. Wouldn't you rather stay home, go to the gym all day, hang out, and here's how you make your money. Herbalife pays you for doing that.
Yep.
It's not going to pay you for that. Or whatever. That's what we want to make sure that we're thinking about. He's blending. So, anybody else want to share their frustrations or what's going on? I know, Rachel, you had reached out to me before.
Well, and Amy Shank, she just posted in the chat if you wanted to read through her comments. But for me, like, I've lost 60 pounds. I've maintained that loss, but I'm looking to go to that next level. However, if I were honest with you, like, I've not been consistent. Like, I think in order to get to that next level, I feel like I need more discipline. But maybe some of the things that you've gone through recently and hearing from you what you're doing to focus specifically on the products, because I do try to incorporate what I feel I've been taught and know to be true is, you know, a balanced nutrition, and that's what I'm following. But and again, I'm just being honest. I'm some days I eat pizza, and some days it's more than just Fridays. But I'm anxious to hear what you have to share. And then, like I said, Amy Shank had some comments in the chat.
Yeah, what I see her, she's hit a plateau. She lost in months. She hasn't lost anything in months, and she's not gaining. So she's kind of stuck. She's following a diet and working out. And she started the La Bamba yesterday, and her husband is asking her, why are you doing this to yourself? She just wants to lose that belly fat. Okay, so Amy, I've had the same exact frustration. I've done the La Bamba. The La Bamba's been around forever, and every once in a while I'll try to resort to that. But, you know, even lately I was trying to do the La Bamba, and it still wasn't making a difference. And just so you guys know, in the 4 weeks, I did have pizza. I did have popcorn at the movies. I did have calamari the other night with an amazing meal at Legal Seafood after the STS with Nick Moreau. And I was not, the only thing I didn't eat was the dinner roll. But I mean, salad dressing, a whole big platter of food, ate everything on it. Quinoa was in there, and Mike and I split a thing of calamari, which when I looked up on, put that in my MyFitnessPal, I was like, holy crap, I ate half. I got to put half of that in there, right? And I think my calories were like 2,400, and my fats were huge number. But that's one day out of 4 weeks, which wasn't, you know, bad. And then a couple other days of here and there. But your metabolism, the good news is your metabolism needs that kick every once in a while. So the thing that I want to share with you guys is that every single one of us has a combination of macronutrients that will work for your body. And it's your height, your age, your weight, and your activity level. Same things that we did for the Body Evolver and every other planning thing. And Herbalife promotes 40-30-30. 40% carbs, 30% fats, and 30% proteins with their global nutrition philosophy. Now that is a generalization, just like everything else. People are like, oh, I can't have protein. Well, it's not that you can't have protein. You can't have that kind of protein maybe. Animal protein is harder to digest than vegetable protein. And, you know, oh, carbs are bad. Well, no, not all carbs are bad. So these generalizations are what catch us. And so what's happening is I was trying, because the doctor said do 40-30-30. I was locking in on 40-30-30. Well, guess what? My numbers when Al gave them to me are 50, 26, 24. That's nowhere near 40, 30, 30. And then there's a certain number of calories per day that you want to put that ratio into. And so I have a little spreadsheet that backs the numbers all in and figures out, you know, how many grams of protein I need, how many carbohydrates and how many fats I need per day based on the ratios and all of that. Now, Al gave me my numbers based on my age, my height, and my current weight. And he knew how active I was and, you know, my athleticism. So he gave me 177 grams of protein, 84 grams of carbs, and 40 grams of fat, all for 1,404 calories. And then that's on the days that I don't work out, which means I'm not lifting. The days that I do work out, that I lift, I do 1,578 calories, still 177 grams of protein, but my carbs are 150 grams and my fats are 30. So you can see that's why we get confused and frustrated, because we can't sync up what to eat every day because it's not the same thing. And so your carbs have to be higher on the days that you're lifting weights. And then again, you do need to get into the gym. I was already doing that, so I didn't have to modify my exercise routine much at all, which is why I know it's 100% diet. I already was working out. I was already going to fit camp. I was already I've done things that are way harder than what I am doing right now, and I'm getting better results. So it's not the exercise. You do have to exercise, so don't get me wrong. You really do want to get into the gym and weight train 3 to 4 times a week. And you want to work your body parts. So like Mike and I do 2 body parts a day that we work out, and we work out 4 days out of the week. So we do chest and biceps, and back and triceps, legs and shoulders, and calves and abs. So that's how our workout routine is when we go to the gym. And on the days that we don't do fit camp, we do fit camp Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings with Al. And that is a full body workout. So there's some little cardio in it. There's weight training in it. And it's 2 cycles of stuff. So on those days, I don't do the cardio. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I don't do the cardio. So on Monday with our weight training, chest and biceps, I do 20 minutes cardio. That's it. 20 minutes on the interval, 2 minutes warm up, 1 minute hard, 2 minutes off, 1 minute hard for 20 minutes. It's not killer. And, you know, I increase the resistance on the hard part for the minute, and then I lower it for the 2 minutes of rest. So it gets your heart rate up. It gets you, you know, working your muscles. And we do that. That's another thing. The cardio is after the weight training. And so on Tuesdays, we go to the gym after the fit camp, so I don't do the cardio. And on Wednesdays, I have BNI, and our day is pretty full, so we might not make it to the gym at all. Thursday, we do fit camp in the morning, and then we'll do the gym later because sometimes I have morning appointments. And then on Friday, we do the gym, and I'll do like burpees as my cardio. So we change it up. And on Saturday and Sunday, we rarely ever go to the gym. So what needs to happen for you guys to get these results is you need to know your numbers. And the way to get your numbers, I was suggesting to Stacy as I started to talk about this is, you know, it'd be fine if Al did everybody's numbers, but that's not going to help you grow your business. So what I would first look into doing is go out in your area and find a personal trainer that's open, that knows how to do personalized nutrition for body competition. And the reason they need to do it for body competition, because there's a certain way they lose fat and exercise. And they'll work with them and have them give you their numbers, even if you have to sit down for a consultation, right? And pay them to give you their numbers. But what you want to do is, this is critical, is you want to, when they give you those numbers, is make your meal plan with those numbers with Herbalife, not what they give you as a meal plan. So what I did was I said, okay, I got to hit 177 grams of protein. You got to be kidding me. And these calories the carbs and the fats are pretty low. And the whole calories for the day are pretty low. I'm like, I couldn't possibly do this with food. I'd have to do this with Herbalife. There's no way. So what I did was I took my shakes and I was making them with 1 scoop of PDM, 1 tablespoon of PPP, and the 2 scoops of Formula 1. And it was like under 200 calories. It was like, 160 calories total. And it had, maybe 19, 20 grams of protein in it. With that plan that Al gave me, I said, I've got to increase both shakes. Now, this made me really nervous because the psychology with me is eat less, exercise more. The scale has to go down, like everybody in the world, right? Scale's not going down. I know how much I'm supposed to weigh, but my clothes aren't fitting. Even at the weight when it's low, my clothes aren't right. And so something's wrong. So I had to get over the psychology of the scale. And Mike will even attest that I'm still fussy about, gosh, the scale is so high. I can't believe it. But all my clothes are fitting. You guys see the lean lines are showing back up. It's like, what? So it goes against everything you know about maintaining your ideal weight, especially us older women that are 45 and above, is that everything that used to work doesn't work anymore. So, and it's not going to work. It's never going to work again. So get over it. And so the thing is that I had to say, okay, I have to trust him. And when I put in 2 scoops of PDM, 2 tablespoons of PPP, and my 2 scoops of Formula 1 in my shake, and I do that twice a day, and I put the entire plan of what I will eat every single day, will not budge, I will not compromise my Herbalife products to do this. So I put all that into my Fitness Pal first and saw what it came out to. And then what I did was I mapped in how much food it was going to take to round out the rest of it. With chicken, I eat chicken and eggs mostly. I like it, it's only 4 ounces of chicken before you cook it. Okay. I got a scale. I actually broke down and bought a scale for my food, and I weigh my chicken. 1 chicken breast will last me 3 meals. I cut it up into cubes. I saute it up in a pan, and I use the spray. I don't use olive oil. And I put everything that doesn't matter in there. So I put like onions and mushrooms and crushed red pepper and the red pepper that's ground up, and flavor it with that. Nothing that has high salt content. I don't use like Lowry's seasoning mix or anything like that. No salty seasonings, but crushed red pepper and that kind of stuff. And things that don't add anything to it, like stewed tomatoes in the can. Those things don't add anything to it. I have to have 1/4 of an avocado every time. I have to, I even got to, I was so happy about this, is I get to eat almonds. I get to eat nuts. I never ate nuts before because there was so many calories in them. But when you put in your meal plan into My Fitness Pal, you have to, like, play around with it. And this took me a lot of time. That's why it's an investment in time. And I was like, I'm going to invest the time in this because it's worth it, because I want the results. But once I get it down, it's going to become automatic, just like everything else. You got to learn it. You got to, labor over it. I have logged every single day for 4 weeks. I have not missed a day until like just over this weekend. And I tried to backtrack and put it all in. The other secret is that I put it into MyFitnessPal before I eat. So I map out all of my calories for the whole week and which days I'm going to work out, which days I don't. And I put it in there according to what he gave me. And so I know what I'm going to eat. And I make up that, I show pictures of what I made up, obviously. And I made up that peach mango wild berry. That's my filler. That's how I zero in on the combination, is because I can get the extra protein grams in there without the fat and without the carbs. And I'm always under on my calories. With all this food I'm eating, I've never hit my calories yet, except going to Legal Seafood. I went way over. But even the night I ate the pizza, I used the whole wheat pizza, and I cooked all vegetables like I would normally put over a salad, and I put them on the pizza. And, I spread the pizza out pretty wide so it's a thin crust. And I put all that into MyFitnessPal, and it was still fine. All I did was kick up the beverage mix that day. I never, ever sacrificed my 2 shakes. So I always, and the thing is I use my second shake typically as my dessert. And I eat my meals closer in the day, like lunch and the mid-lunch snack. So by the time I'm eating my shake, when the Zoom calls are on, I'm stuffed. And I'm shoveling that in because I have to hit the calories, and I have to go against, geez, if I don't eat this, I'm going to be under my calories and I'm going to lose weight tomorrow. Those are the days that I'm not lighter the next day, is that if I skip. So you can't skip. Your metabolism actually needs you to do it. So I drink that protein drink mix at night as my last thing to get that last bit of protein in, because it's not a lot of calories, not a lot of carbs in it. And so what you need to find out, and this is different for every single person, that's why people like, send me your meal plan. I'm like, my meal plan won't work for you, right? My meal plan is going to work for me. I'm 6'2", and I weigh 10 pounds more than I ever have weighed. I'm normally 157 is my weight that I've always weighed. I weigh 167 this morning on the scale, and I still freak out. And Mike measured me, and my widest part on my hips were down a ½ inch.
Wow.
In a week. I lost 2 inches on the first 2 weeks off of my waist. So all my clothes that fit me when I was 157 all fit. And so what Al's telling me is that's the thing, is that you want to go into fat loss but not lose your lean muscle. See, a lot of times when people go on a diet, they want that scale to move down, and they'll do it at the sacrifice of their lean muscle because they're cutting back too far in the calories and the protein. But you can't give up the fats, and you can't give up the carbs either. But when the carbs are up, it's the fats are down. And when the carbs are down, the fats are up. That's how you play around with it. So you can keep the calories low on the days that you're not working out, doing the weight training, because you're taking the carbs out of the diet. The carbs are low when you're not weight training, and the fats are higher. So those are the days that I typically, it's real easy for me to hit. I don't think I've actually hit 150 grams of carbs either. I'm usually around 130, 140. And the other thing I found out is, one thing I'm not doing is I'm not subtracting the carbs from the net carbs, like from fibrous carbs, all the greens and the kale and the spinach and the asparagus and all those things that that actually have carbs that are adding to my carb number, but they're also decreasing my caloric intake, right? So I ignore that. I just do it straight from MyFitnessPal. But there's always like a buffer in there. So if I'm high on my carbs, I know there's still that amount of fiber that I'm eating that will keep the calories and the carbs, really the net of that will be down. So I still play this psychological game with myself, like, okay, I can get away with this because of this, but I'm sticking to those numbers like religiously. And on the days that I have to increase my carbs, I don't do the typical stuff that people are eating for the carbs, like the couscous, the quinoa, the brown rice, because I find if I use my shakes, it pushes the carbs way up. So sweet potato is like my go-to carb for a real carb, like a starchy carb. The other thing I go to on occasion is the quick oats, the oatmeal. And I only use like a quarter of a cup of the oats, and I put in a scoop of the PDM, and then like just a little bit, maybe a half a scoop of one of the Formula Ones to flavor it, the banana caramel or the dolce or something. And I cut up a small apple into little pieces, and then I put some cinnamon in there. And what I find is that if I beef things up with things that don't count, it makes a gigantic dish. Like my egg dish is one egg with either a half or a full cup of egg whites, depending on how my protein is that day. So I'm trying to zero in on a number. And then, so those are the things I play around with. Is I can't, the egg is the egg. So that goes in. But the egg whites I can play with because I need the protein and it doesn't have a lot of calories. So I can add more if I'm hungry. If I add less because I don't have the calories, or if I want more nuts that day, I kind of play around with it. But I normally do a cup of the egg whites. And then what I use onions and mushrooms and baby spinach or kale, some asparagus that's already cooked. I chop it up into little pieces, or some little pieces of the broccoli head. And I stir fry that all up first before I put the eggs in. And then I put the crushed red pepper on there and the red powder pepper. And then I pour the egg mixture on top of it. And I made a picture of it so you guys can see the picture I put. And it kind of bakes a little bit. And then I never can just make it into an omelet. So I just scramble it all up. And I throw on 2 tablespoons of feta cheese. And I'll tell you, that dish, when it comes out, is huge. But it's under 300 calories, and it's loaded with protein. It's loaded with fiber and all the good stuff that I like to eat. So put the stuff, and even on the days that I can do the extra sweet potato, I'll take like a third of a medium sweet potato, and I'll chop it up into little cubes, heat it up in the microwave, because I cook all my potatoes when Mike cooks his roast chicken. And I'll put my potatoes in at the beginning of the week, and then they're in the refrigerator just cooked all the time. But 4 potatoes will last me a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, because I don't eat them all the time. And I'll chop it up into little pieces and put it on there, and it'll just make it a little bit sweet. But you don't need a lot. Same thing with that salad that I make. I use a lot of the spring mix. It's all a whole bunch of spring mix in a dish. But I've already cooked up the chicken. So the chicken is in containers in the refrigerator, and it's got onions and mushrooms typically, because that's what I like. Crushed red pepper. And I partition it into little self-serving containers so that there's about 4 ounces of chicken in each one. And then I heat up the chicken in the microwave. I throw the salad in the bowl, and then I throw in half a serving of the almonds, a quarter of the avocado, about 3 tablespoons of just the balsamic red wine vinegar, no dressing, just the vinegar. And then I'll put like raw broccoli crowns, little pieces of that, or maybe the asparagus, whatever's some kind of a green. And maybe sometimes there'll be some vegetables like the red pepper, green pepper combo. And what I make up is one big giant vat of that, but it'll last me the whole week because I'm not using a lot of it in each meal. It's just a little bit to flavor. And when you use a whole bunch of different things, but a little tiny bit of each one, it makes for a very colorful, robust meal. And that salad fills me up, and I'm stuffed after I eat it like I felt like I cheated. And then I still have to eat a shake after that later and another protein drink mix. So by the time the end of the night, I'm like, I can't believe I have to eat all this food. But what it's done for me is it makes me not pick. So I used to go a little bit long, and I'd be making my salad or my egg dish or whatever and not measuring anything, and I'd eat like a half a sweet potato while I was doing that, and then I would eat my salad and all that. So all those little BLTs, bites, licks, and tastes, they add up. And what I found was when I put all that stuff into my MyFitnessPal and I mapped out my meal plan and I made it exactly what I was supposed to eat, there was no room for all those BLTs. Because if I did the BLT, then it would throw off my meal plan. Because I'm like, oh, wow, if I throw that in, it's going to go, woo, this number is going to jump off the chart over here. And it made it easier for me to follow it. Is because I had it in, and the days I don't log are the days I'm off. So I made myself log first before I could eat. And I won't eat anything until I've logged. So I try not to let it go more than a day or two. Like I'll log for 2 or 3 days in advance, because you can copy the days ahead and then leave it in there and eat according to it. And if something changes, you can drop it out and add something in and see what it does. And I always go down and I hit nutrition and I see the breakdown. And what I'm trying to do is dial in exactly to what my carbohydrate, my protein, and my fat number is. And so when I make substitutions, I put it into MyFitnessPal before I actually eat it, because sometimes you can't fix it. If you've eaten something, you can't get the calories, the fats, and the proteins to measure out equal, no matter what you eat. It's like, if I add this, then this is off. If I add this, this is off. So that's why logging first is important. So I think I covered most of the ups and downs of what I do, but what I'd like to create is this group of women, like all you guys who seem really, really invested in getting an actual result, that you would take the time to follow it and log it, and we could post together. And I'm doing it as part of my 21-day shake challenge. That's my moment to actually slip this stuff in. And I do it in kind of like a way that kind of resonated with you guys all on this call. Was, here's my dilemma, here's what I want, why isn't this working anymore, and then here's what I found out, this is what I'm doing. But I don't tell everybody what I'm doing, because if I can't. So I keep just getting people interested in what's my numbers. I want to know my numbers too. So that's what you want to create in your group, because if you can get yourself results, your team is going to do it too. All of your customers, you're going to have more confidence with being able to help them get their own product result, because you're going to be like, okay, this is what and they're so willing to just go order everything right off of, I mean, the orders that we're having people do now are 300 and 400 volume points. Bam. So senior consultants are popping like crazy. And it's because they're upping their product use. Now, when we do that consumer shift spending on the quick start, Rachel, right? We see what would $50, 50 volume points extra be? That's like one canister of PDM, right? You get 50 people to add a canister of PDM into their meal plan. That's what we're doing. That's not even adding in the outer nutrition, which we totally are under promoting. But that's how we can get that consumer shift to pop, is the protein drink mix, those beverage mix. I get both flavors and I mix the two of them. And that gallon I do 4 scoops of the wild berry and 4 scoops of the peach mango. I use 1/4 cup of the concentrated aloe and a teaspoon, 1 full teaspoon of the concentrate tea. And I make up a gallon, and it makes 5 of those 12.8 containers, those Herbalife containers that I have. And I pour them all into there, and I put them all in the refrigerator, so they're already done. And that's what I'm calling my meal prep. I make my 2 shakes at night. They're in the freezer. I got my peach mangoes in there. Those 5 peach mangoes will last me all week. I don't drink more than 1 a day typically. I drink 1 of those. It's at the end of the day, usually. I do my CR7 for my carbs in the morning. I got people telling me, oh, I do egg whites and oatmeal. Well, none of that's Herbalife. Well, what's that going to do for your business? So that's what you want to do for your business, is to get these results using the products and then fill in with the extra food, because there's no way you can hit the calorie that you need to do for the day without food. So you get to say, gosh, I got to eat all this food because I'd never hit my calorie number, but I'm doing it with Herbalife. So what I would say, because you can end up with a personal trainer in your organization, and that's really what you want to get out of this. Not only do you want to increase your personal consumption of your clients and your coaches, and maybe get some client coaches, right? Get some of those discount customer people that are all of a sudden getting more interested, using more product, and now they're sharing what they're doing with their friends and family because they're getting better results. They may be more likely to want to coach to get their products for free, right? 2 customers is going to get them to senior consultant and their products paid for. That's just straight math. And if they're ordering, the basic program, they have to upgrade, but they're going to want to upgrade. They're going to upgrade themselves. They're going to add in the peach mango. They're going to add in the extra PPP. They're going to add in, and you know what? Since I've been doing this, I have not taken Perlessa. I have not taken Total Control. I don't need to curb my appetite in any way, shape, or form, and I don't need to add in fat burning because it's happening. So you can, for those people that I need to chew and I need to eat and all that, you notice how I'm kind of putting that in my posts. I need to eat, I need to chew, I need this, I need that. Okay. Who wants the results? You can chew, you can do anything you want. And that's what's making a difference, is so we want to hit those points when we post. So if we all post this as a strategy, we can play off each other and cause your circles of influence all to go, Rachel, help me. Bernadette, help me. Michelle, help me. And then you'll start to see some more interest in wanting to up their product use. But if you can get just one personal trainer out of this that converts, you can have that personal, here's what you can do with a personal trainer once they figure this out. You can make that personal trainer $400 in about an hour. Because a personal trainer is going to have at least 5 clients. So that's a success builder instantly. That's just, okay, I'm going to take my 5 clients, I'm going to put your meal plan together, here's what you're going to eat. And they'll do it. They're going to place a success builder and they're going to have $400 in their pocket in a second. And then you'll have their attention. It'll pay for their products. But if you can get the results with them knowing what you're doing with your meal plan, and get them on a 3-day trial, and then upgrade them so that they're seeing the product results themselves and experiencing the products while they're watching your goals happen right in front of them. But I would go through a number of personal trainers and talk to them and interview them before you decide on one. They got to have a tiny little bit of an open mind. They got to be willing to try the 3-day trial. What questions would I ask them? Well, the first thing I would do is I'd probably just go to a couple of different gyms and say, do any of the personal trainers here do personal meal planning? What experience do you have with bodybuilding, helping people get into shape for any kind of contest, like that kind? And secondly, do they have any experience themselves of being in the bodybuilding arena? Like, have they done it themselves, done a competition? Now, they may be out of shape right now and they may not look the part right now, because Al didn't. Al was like way out of shape and he came out of nowhere. He's like a diamond in the rough, like bam. He's like instantaneous. And then he shows us all his bodybuilding pictures, former bodybuilding pictures, and what he was, shredded and in contests and all that. And we're like, okay. So because he let us know that he had that skill, I was like, all right, I'll follow your meal plan. And I didn't tell him exactly that I was going to take his meal plan that he gave me, just the numbers. He only gave me the numbers. He didn't tell me what to eat. I knew I was going to do it with Herbalife and put it all into MyFitnessPal, figure it out myself. But I did it because the people in our fit camp were not totally enrolled in the whole Herbalife thing. And they were like coming to free fit camp and they're like, oh, no. We were sampling products and promoting the products and talking about CR7 and all that stuff at fit camp. But we went one round of 4 weeks and I wasn't doing that. And then Al said, I'm going to do an 8-week shred over the holidays and I'm going to get myself all leaned up. And I go, I want to do it with you. And I'm like, give me my numbers and I'll do it with you. And so we started on the same day, and it was a Sunday, and it coincided with this new 4-week fit camp that we did. So the same people saw me the 4 weeks before, and I'm, same, no results, nothing, right? I'm still feeling like I was. And then I and everybody knew because I announced it while we were at the fit camp that I wanted him to put a meal plan for me together. Because I want some of these people that are coming to the fit camp to ask him for help so that he can get customers out of it. So I, started doing it. I'm like, all right, we're going to do it. Mike's measuring me and keeping track of the numbers. And I put my whole thing in and I start posting about it. And then in 2 weeks, I lost 2 inches off my weight and I was feeling great. I could tell it was working. So each time we were going to fit camp, it was that noticeable that people in 2 weeks were like, Al, put one for me. Al, do one for me. And then, because I'm posting online, everybody's coming out of the woodwork on Facebook going, Al, 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 Al. He's like, every time Lori posts something, I get 50 new friend requests. And so he's like, I can't possibly do this for everybody. And I said, don't worry about it. When we get you a couple of personal trainers on your team that you can teach, you're going to do a Zoom call and you're going to teach them, and other people are going to be able to get on and listen. And then it'll soften the market, and then they can take their personal trainers and get them on too. And you can teach them all together, and it'll create this swell. And then the social proof for personal trainers to join Herbalife will start to raise awareness. So it starts to become the cool thing. Because one of the things Nick Moreau told us at dinner, and that's one of the reasons why you want to go out with the dinner with the speaker, is he told us that this is his 4th time in Herbalife. He's been a distributor since he was 16. He has his 15-year pin. He's like, I'm not wearing my 15-year pin. So he was in, out, in, out, in, out. And the reason that he joined again after going to college, dropping out, and he told us the condensed version at the STS.
Right? A lot better though, ain't she?
Yeah.
Seeing the pictures she is. I haven't seen her personally.
Somebody's fucking here. Okay. So, so he told us, he said the reason he came back and actually took Herbalife seriously was because Mark and Jill Addy, he knew them back when they first were involved in Herbalife. And his mom says, hey, did you realize, or did you know Mark and Jill Addy just made Mill Team? And that got his attention because he knew them. And it was like, they were me, and now they're there. Oh my God. It all of a sudden became okay. And it validated to him that Herbalife was okay to do now. So that's what personal trainers need to see. They need to see other personal trainers getting on board with each of you and starting to, like what Jennifer Michelle's doing, right? She's posting, and that's why I posted it yesterday, is that she's posting, I had this client who got this, she went to Wisconsin. That's where those people, those gym owners are. But here's what she did for us. When Al first started to think about coming into the business and say, I want to do fit camp model, I asked Jennifer if she would talk to Al first, because fit camp, just like anything else, if you don't follow it exactly as a structure, it won't duplicate the way you want it to. And you won't get the same results that she got. She actually got on a call with me, Al, Mike, and herself, 4 of us, and spent probably an hour and a half with Al, who was like barely a distributor, and told him everything she possibly could to contribute to him. And he was blown away. He was like, she's like a 20K Pres team member. He didn't even know what that was, but he knew that she was big in the business. He could see that after they became friends on Facebook that she was traveling all over, doing STSs, highly revered in the marketplace. And he's like, she got on a call with me and she has nothing to gain by this. But here's the reward. Look what happened to her. That's how the universe works. That whole thing with Wisconsin, and she's got this whole gym owner thing now going on. Because she gave over here, she got something in return. That's why you give. That's why you do reach out and extend and help people, and you go the extra mile. because, and I think Dave, if he's in non-noise land, can come in and validate this, is that if you want to get to president's team, you need like uncharacteristically crazy momentum, like duplication that you can't understand. Right, Dave? You can pop on now and validate some of this.
Yeah, without a doubt. When I look back at what our numbers were and how that was duplicating in our 18 months to Pres team, hands down, you need that crazy momentum. No question about it.
So we have to get something that's so simple. This is going back to the GoPro, right? We need a lot of people doing something that is so mindlessly simple, massively. And so if we can create this momentum with people getting these kind of extraordinary results, and it happens like 3 days, you got your numbers. I'm telling you, it happens fast. So when you're dialed in to the right combination for your body, and here's the thing, to go back to what Bernadette was saying, is that she lost the weight and then, she started to gain the weight and then it wasn't coming off as easy anymore. Here's why Herbalife works and then all of a sudden doesn't work anymore. Is because the first combination that you go on is probably around 40, 30, 30, which when you don't have the right diet, that's fine to lose the first however many pounds you need to lose, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it is, even 30 or 20 for somebody who's smaller. But then to get down to your ideal weight, the combination changes. So it's no longer 40, 30, 30. It could be 48 something, and then dial it in a different, like, so each time you hit another like level in your body composition change, like where your percentage of body fat drops down, you need a new combination. And if you get more active, like say some of these heavier people like that are losing 40, 50, 60 pounds, sure, they get that off, but then they start exercising. They start to become a little bit more fit. They start, like, you hear all these people doing these marathons or half marathons or Ironmans and things like that. And it's like, if you're under fueling, you'll blow up like a tick. Your body will drop the lean and gain the fat storage immediately if you under fueled and try to exercise like that. And that's what most of us are doing here, is that we're over exercising and under fueling, because that's what I was doing. I was way under fueling, and the more I cut back, the worse it got. And it's really psychologically difficult for me to eat, even now, this much. Because I'm naturally, like Bernadette, meal skipper. Oh, well, I'm not hungry, blah, 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 I'll eat later, blah. That all worked when I was 20. But you know what? Doesn't work anymore. So who wants to create something like really, really, really amazing over the holidays so that our Januaries are spectacular?
I'm so on that.
I am.
It makes sense. I don't mean to chime in. It makes sense though, Lori, when you're saying this, like, and I know we change our numbers, so because we put in, your height, your weight. Okay, here's your protein factor. We put that in. We're just not putting the other stuff in. And like you said, I don't change mine the days I work out, except for I may add a rebuild strength in. I've added the CR7 in. Other than that, I don't add anything else in. So I definitely know not hitting the numbers and knowing what they are. Now the challenge will be, which is going to be the fun part, is to go out and just put yourself out there to ask these people, because we have hit the gyms. They know everything. That stuff doesn't work.
Good. That's what you want. You want someone who knows everything.
There's, what I'm saying? Oh, this product. Oh, we don't use those. So, it's interesting now to be able to know how to walk in and just kind of take the pressure off and say, this is what I'm looking for me. However, do you want us to tell them that we want to fuel it with Herbalife, or just we want to know what our numbers are?
Right. You want to make them guess what the heck you're up to. You don't want to tell anybody anything.
So we shouldn't go in dressed in our Herbalife. Shouldn't be branded. Okay.
No, you can. I mean, you can certainly have something on that says Herbalife or not. They can, but don't go in there like ripped with Herbalife. But I would go in and say, here's where I'm struggling. And I know that I know this works, and I need to find the right person. And what it does, though, is it makes your DMO so much easier, because now you're not out there going, I have to do this. You're like, I am on a mission, because this is I am going to get these numbers for myself from the best person possible.
And I think this is interesting because I have, it's a small little cluster, and they go to a personal trainer, and nothing's happening, but they continue to go to this personal trainer. And it's interesting. So I my wheels were already starting to click. So I'm excited to see how this to approach them.
You can even take that with, are you frustrated that you're doing these meal plans for your clients and they're not getting results? Like, do you think they're cheating? What do you think is going on? And maybe find one that you get a good chemistry with and align with them and say, how about I get some amazing results to validate that you know what you're talking about? I need you to do my macros. I need to know what my numbers are.
I'm all in, Lori.
Thank you so much.
No, I'm all in. This is amazing. Thank you for the time today. I definitely got some research to do, and it makes sense. I mean, I'm one of those half marathoners, and I know that because I run. That's what I do. I don't go to a gym, but I may now. And I have 2 bad shoulders, so I can't do any arm exercises. But I'm not going to let that hold me back. But I run a lot, and I bet you I have no idea what my numbers are. Not even a clue.
Yeah, but what's going on, that's what happens with the high cardio people, is they'll drop your lean, and your lean, as you age, you're going to drop your lean too, because your hormones are changing. So your lean's going down, your fat storage is going up. And so it's getting harder and harder because your metabolism's tied to how much lean you have on you. So if you're dropping lean and your metabolism's going down, you're just going into fat storage the more you run.
Yep. So this is crucial. Work on that this week. So
here's what I have to ask from you, Michelle. You guys are doing awesome with those house parties. So maybe we could do another Zoom where you share exactly what you're doing with the house parties.
I would love to do that. We can set up another time.
Yeah.
And we'll and you can promote it if you want. We're just so passionate about it, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger every week. That Todd and I have actually had to branch out, and for our personal team, because we do them with 10 coaches, and only 2 of those are on our immediate line. They're all sidelines on Bill and Christy's team. So, but we've had to branch out and do 2 or 3 additional parties a week for just our team members, because it is just too big. I mean, we got 20, 30 people there on a weekly basis in our house. So we would love to do a call.
So they stood up as high volume producers at our STS, and they produced over 16,000 volume points last month. They had another VIP, brand new supervisors that did 8,500 in their first month, right? In their
third month in the business, they did 8,500.
And they were sitting at the VIP tables with them, and their personal volume, their personally purchased volume was 1,060 something.
Yeah, it was low. It was like 1,300 was our personal volume. And so it was like 14,000 downline volume.
Wholesale.
Yep.
One other thing that I didn't mention in that interview also, Michelle, that everybody should know is Todd and Michelle had 35 members last month contributing wholesale profit. So massive numbers are key as well, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a numbers thing. So we had 35 members ordering. Some might have been 100, 200 points, but when you have 50 members ordering, then your numbers are going to keep going up. And we didn't get to explain it too much yesterday, but we really dial in on all of the brand new members and get almost every single one of them to senior consultant their first month. So we look at numbers. That's Todd's part. He is all about the numbers. He looks at it like 10 times a day. He has mastered crazy spreadsheets that I don't even understand. But he knows exactly how many points to the 0.01 each member needs by the end of the month to hit their next qualification. And that right there turns into mega volume. So
Awesome. Well, I can't wait because I'm a spreadsheet queen and I love that. And so does
you should do some screen sharing with Todd because he he would love to share with you.
Awesome. All right.
So you just set up, we'll coordinate a time, Lori, where we can do a little presentation. I'll grab my sideline partner, Veronica, who really, we started this all together right after Extravaganza. We drove to St. Louis. It took us 24 hours to get home in the car, and we brainstormed and we said, you know what, next week we're starting shake parties, and we've done them every single week since then.
Awesome.
So
that sounds like a blast.
Yay.
All
I'll never do that again.
Drive. Yeah, right. Well, you don't have to now.
No.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for popping on. And so we're going to social proof on Facebook with all of your concerns, everything you expressed out here as help me, I want this is what's happening with me. And then we're going to create a buzz.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Dave.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle, for asking the question to get it out there.
Yay.
Great job.
Yeah.
See you tonight.